All right, well, here we are, the first weekend after Valentine's Day, and it is my favorite time of the year. It's the time where we put seeds in the ground. Now, the very first thing that we've got to do is actually straighten out our water lines because the last couple weeks we've been working on irrigation, and we've cleaned everything out. And we've got our field ready.
We got a field.
But
we just need to put in the water lines and put in the seeds. Yeah.
Yep. So I've got my helper with me today. So we're gonna get the water lines put in and get the irrigation controller up and running.
Yep.
And then we'll start to put some seeds in the ground. We're gonna be doing corn, green beans, and carrots for this first round.
Today is February 16th. So we found a friend. It's a little gecko. Can you guys see him in there? Yeah. He's right there. You guys see him?
You see him?
Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Right there. On the wall. Guys, see that black spot?
No,
That's the gecko.
yep, that is him, isn't it?
Yeah, he's climbing up.
Yep, there he goes. Here, watch.
Watch him.
There he goes.
So cute. Oh, there's a gecko. What should we name him, Daddy?
I don't know, but here he comes. See?
Oh, he's so cool. He should get back to garden work, but he's gonna. Oh, bye, little gecko friend.
Yep, there he goes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're here at the garden faucet, and the very first thing that we're going to do is connect the water line up. This year I am developing my own water timer. The cheapy water timer that I was using last year, while it's functional, it doesn't give me near the amount of options that I would have if I were to write the controller myself. So I've got me a little Raspberry Pi and a couple of irrigation valves and a relay, and now I'm confident that I'm able to control it. The problem is that in order for the whole thing to work, we need to connect it to constant pressure here. And earlier this year, I had a dedicated line run for the garden here, and the intention was to tap into this pre-plumbed line, but I think for version 1 here, we're just gonna hook onto the hose bib until I'm confident that everything is up and running and functional, and then we'll make this a dedicated run here. So last year I fought leaks to no extent. I've kind of found what works and what doesn't when it comes to making connections to water. So when it comes to making a connection to your hose bib here, there's two types of sealants that you can apply to it here. One is a Teflon tape, and then the other one is more like a putty. And my experience is that the putty is not worth the time or the money. What you want to do is get Teflon tape here, and surprisingly, the more the better. Alright, so another thing here is that whenever you're making your connections to your hose bib, you want to make sure that you use something called a leader hose. And you can pick these up at your home improvement stores here. However, they're not all made the same. So this is your standard run-of-the-mill garden leader hose. And what it is, it's a short 3 to 4 foot hose. It's got female connections on each end. The problem is that not all of these are made for operation under constant pressure. This one is a prime example of one not made for operation under constant pressure. Anywhere there's a connection from hose to brass here, or there's a swivel in it, it will leak. Instead, what you want to do is you want to get a braided stainless steel leader hose here. You can pick these up over by the appliance department. You typically find these for washing machines. And then once you've made your connection to your faucet here, spend the extra $3 and get yourself a quick connect. Because what you can then do is put your quick connect mate on your pipes, and then if you need to pick it up or move it or shut it down for the end of the year, or for whatever reason here, you don't have to retape and replumb your entire thing. This is a very easy process to do. The other thing is, on the inside here, there's a gasket. So these things are watertight and they'll hold under pressure. So let's go ahead and make that final connection, and I'll show you how that works. So just like that, and then turn the water on, and that's all dry, and that's all dry, and that's all dry, and we're operating and holding under constant pressure. Okay, now that we've got our irrigation control valves made up here, I want to figure out where specifically I'm going to put them here. Now, I've got 6 rows for irrigation lines here, or more appropriately, 6 beds worth of irrigation lines made up here. These are 30-inch beds here. It's a standard that Curtis Stone advocates in his book, The Urban Farmer. And ideally, what I'd like to have is an irrigation valve on each bed. Since this is kind of version 1 here of a very new system here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have each irrigation valve control 3 beds. And then as we mature the system here, then we'll add more irrigation valves, and my Raspberry Pi controller will be able to accommodate that. So again, we've got the master, we've got the hookup to the hose bib here with a braided stainless steel braided leader hose. We've got that coming down to what will be our master control valve, and then we're going to run some pipe along here to the first, which will control these 3 beds, and then the second one over here, which will control those 3 beds over there. And so let's get this pipe connected here, and then I'll show you the bit about the Raspberry Pi. All right, well, we are losing daylight pretty quick here, but I think we are in good shape here. We've got our irrigation lines connected and our valves hooked up and everything. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our 24-volt AC power supply, and we're going to connect it to our main valve over here, and turn the whole thing on, and just make sure that we don't have any leaks and that our glue job on the PVC is fine. All right, well, I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but that is going to wrap it up for today here. We've got water coming through here. We've got our irrigation valve turning on. There's no leaks here. There's no leaks there. There's no leaks back at the valve. And we've got a nice yes. Okay, that's great. That's where it's supposed to come out. So all I got to do is cap that up, and tomorrow we'll bring out the Raspberry Pi. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.